Never put your pistol in the dryer. Video games are famous for making you feel powerful. Whether it's wielding chainsaws that fire bullets or defeating demons 1,000 times your size, the player has all the power. So there's nothing more humbling than when game developers give you a pathetic weapon to fight with. From kitchen cutlery to the tiniest pistol ever, we're taking a look at 10 of gaming's most pathetically weak weapons. You're a young deputy who needs to command respect against an armed doomsday cult. You need the perfect weapon. In Far Cry, the player has to plan assaults on enemy compounds utilising their stealth, but also be prepared to go guns a-blazing if things go wrong. With a collection of automatic weapons with silencers, you're spoilt for choice. Although Bart Simpson might approve, the Slingshot probably isn't your best option. A fully retracted Slingshot is capable of one-shot headshots, but when becoming overrun by enemies with much more modern weapons than you, then you're obviously going to be killed while you're busy loading up the next rock. The Slingshot does have some use for stealth, but if you're alerted, then it's probably better to have a weapon that's a little bit more automatic. You know, like an SMG. But maybe you're a little bit more hands-on. Maybe you're a little bit more of a grave half full kind of person. If so, use the shovel and throw, impale, and bonk your way to glory. Purchased from the Kilton's monster shop Fang and Bone, the spring-loaded hammer has the punching power of a soft mattress. It will send you flying, but oh so delicately. After hitting the enemy 4 times, it will fling them a huge distance, but only deal a measly 1 damage. The hammer's low damage could be excusable if the weapon was invincible, but much like every other weapon in Breath of the Wild, the hammer will still collapse after multiple uses. In a game with limited inventory slots and breakable items, you would hope this goofy little hammer could at least last you to the end of the day. Link probably should have bought some duct tape at the same time. But for players who want a challenge, ditch the Master Sword and fight Ganon with a hammer. It may take a while. Now, if you really want to clean up Hyrule, maybe reach for a mop instead, as this will still deal more damage than the spring-loaded hammer. The hammer is useful near a cliff, I'll give it that much, but in an enclosed space, using it on someone is like trying to get a fly out the window. And the hammer might not be able to damage your enemies and then clean their mess off the floor like a mop would, but at least it does make a Bokoblin's dream to fly a reality. Fly on, you beautiful beast. The Hellspawn may look menacing, but they're all mouth. Doomguy can rip demons apart with his bare hands, but funnily enough, the pistol can only muster a gentle tickle. The pistol's tiny bullets of energy will give demons a few scrapes and bruises, but to actually kill them, you're better off using any other gun. To its credit, the pistol does have unlimited ammo, but ammo for other weapons is pretty abundant, so it's never really a concern. After the beginning part of the game, the pistol will live quite comfortably in your back pocket, unless you're feeling especially masochistic and really enjoy slowly drudging through the enemies. You might even have to get the demons to kill each other. Mitten's squad decided to complete the whole game with a pistol, taking 7 minutes to clear a room. Now, that actually does sound like hell. We shouldn't complain though, because at least Doom has a pistol. The sequel Doom Eternal originally had one before eventually scrapping it. Well, given how weak it was, maybe it was for the best. A BFG may give you a quick, spectacular kill, but there's nothing more personally fulfilling than taking an eternity to kill a demon with a pistol. 1 down, millions to go. Path of Exile, like other RPGs, contains many different weapons for the true role-playing experience. Not all weapons have blades though, as you can use a fishing rod to hook the souls of your enemies. The fishing rod in the game is a rare item with less power than a goat's horn. Not an expression, just apparently weaker than a goat's horn. The fishing rod has very low combat effectiveness, and its uselessness will only take up space in your inventory. Well, it may not be good for combat, but at least you can use it as it was intended, to catch some fish. Actually, you can't. Path of Exile has no fishing mechanic in the game whatsoever. The non-existent fishing mechanic is a running joke from the developer Grinding Gear Games and is spread by the community. New players are frequently confused by the existence of special fishing rods, which give the player stat buffs, make them glow when a unique fish is near, allow you to catch exotic fish, and increase the quantity of fish you can catch. But of course, none of these things actually exist. Like a fluffy puppy, the cuteness of the Kolibri is enough to stop your enemies right in their tracks, if only for a moment so they can have a quick laugh before executing you. With very low damage and shaky accuracy, this dinky little Doombringer takes 4 headshots to take someone down, and honestly at that point, he's probably just playing dead to spare your feelings. Now, you could aim for the body, but it may take an entire match to kill an enemy. With a damage output of 1 to 5, it could potentially take you up to 100 body shots to kill someone. You'll have enough ammo, but someone is guaranteed to finish them off before you, if of course you're not already dead. But if you're lucky enough that your enemy is so injured that they could be killed by a gentle breeze, then the Kolibri may just be the finishing touch. Take advantage of its endearing charm and very slowly bring your enemies down with your handheld pea shooter. But be aware, the war may end before you kill someone. Some players host servers with just the Kolibri only. Safe to say these matches last decades longer than any war. Dark Souls is possibly the most brutal game franchise ever. With punishing combat mechanics and unrelenting challenge, it's always sensible to bring an imposing weapon. It's probably not sensible to bring a soup ladle. As a gift from Millibeth the housekeeper, the ladle is the pinnacle of soup transporting technology, but unfortunately offers about as much combat effectiveness as you'd expect from a soup ladle, which is not a lot. Constantly requiring the use of repair powder, the ladle is extremely fragile with low damage output. In Dark Souls, anyone can kill you at any time, so building your character up to be as deadly as possible gives you the best chance of surviving. Fighting with a feeble ladle, however, is pretty counterintuitive. Very slowly chipping away at the enemy's health, making every encounter last for a dread-filled eternity. Some might even go as far to say it's not super effective. But when in doubt, double up. Dual wielding the ladle gives you twice the culinary power as you attempt to dish out death to the monsters of the Drangleic like a crazed Gordon Ramsay, or like a regular Gordon Ramsay. Unfortunately, dual wielding only makes you a little bit stronger, so definitely still expect to die 40 times while fighting a pretty basic enemy. Despite the significant detriment the ladle brings, some players have mastered the technique, and in the true spirit of Dark Soups 2, have embraced the mammoth challenge. Wielding 2 ladles may make the game a complete nightmare, but at least you'll always be ready to cater to a family of 4. Fallout is filled with nuke launchers and futuristic energy pistols to battle against the horrors of an apocalyptic wasteland. There's seemingly no place for weaponized toys. The paddleball, however, would beg to differ. My lurks will be completely unconcerned at the sight of your wooden toy as they await the gentle bump of a rubber ball on their rock-solid shells. The standard paddleball inflicts microscopic damage on your enemies, and even with an electric upgrade, still chips a fraction of their health. The only real damage you can expect here is a self-inflicted carpal tunnel syndrome. The paddleball does not have unlimited ammo, and the paddleball string ammo is apparently quite rare. This weapon, if you could call it that, is clearly a novelty, but if you actually want to survive in the wasteland, you're better off finding one of millions of pipe guns. Or maybe even fork out and get yourself a nice bat. Go on, you deserve it. After you're done eating a nice charred skeever steak, sometimes you want to launch straight into battle without lugging around a bulky sword. Why not use your trusty dinner fork? With a base damage of 1, the fork's short-range 2-prong attack will tenderize the enemy. It cannot be upgraded, but enchantment will provide a tiny pinch of extra damage. But these aren't your regular store-bought forks. The wieldable fork is a rare item located in peculiar places, like in the snowy mountains of High Hrothgar, if you fancy walking up all 7,000 steps to get there. You can even dual wield a knife and a fork if you really want to eat the competition alive. Both the knife and the fork are still very weak, but player perks can slightly increase the damage. But these increases are pretty irrelevant because, as you would expect from slightly upgrading kitchen cutlery, it's still a knife and fork. A sword or even your shout would be more effective. Although the idea of being a fork-wielding orc, aka a fork, is just too tempting to me. The threat of formidable foes will quickly turn things into a Skyrim edition of kitchen nightmares. JC Denton, a stylish man with sunglasses anatomically attached to his face, is no stranger to a flamethrower, but sometimes JC wants a different kind of burn. Cigarettes are a consumable item in Deus Ex that inflicts secondhand smoking damage to the enemy, but also, like the real-world counterpart, inflict damage to the player. JC seems to smoke a whole box in one click of a mouse, ingesting presumably 20 cigarettes in one puff. The lung capacity of this man. Admitting you have a problem is the first step, JC. Inflicting 10 damage to the player after 10 packs, he drops dead after suffering critical damage to his torso. The cigarettes can be used to sneakily kill someone in plain sight, but the health complications mean you won't be alive very long either. Just say no, kids. Willamette Parkview Mall isn't just your regular zombie-infested mall. It contains stylish katanas, fully automatic guns, and handheld chainsaws. With such an arsenal available to you, it's easy to find a destructive weapon. It's almost too easy. Why not unleash your inner clown and chuck a freshly baked pie in the face of a zombie? What? I thought it was a nice gesture. Some of these weapons do little or sometimes no damage whatsoever and will break after a few uses. In most games, weak weapons are a novelty, but in Dead Rising, the most effective weapons are in hard to reach places, so on the way to get them, you're gonna have to use the giant salmon. As you are being constantly swarmed by the undead, sometimes a golf club isn't the worst option. Well, at least you can brush up on your technique. It's not just zombies who will disrupt Frank's shopping experience. As you explore the mall, you may be caught off guard by running into a psychopath, and quickly realize you only actually have with you a carton of orange juice, a wasp in a jar, and a stack of dinner plates. It might not be the best option, but a dinner plate to a cult leader's head may be the only option. Either way, it's still better than, say, spitting on them. Frank? Come on. If you're going to need to defend yourself, sometimes you won't have the luxury of a nuke launcher, so you're going to have to settle for the kitchen fork, a plate, and a large salmon. Well, that's dinner out the window. These weapons may only tickle your enemies and ultimately get you killed, but they do excel in being charming as fork. Anyway guys, thank you for watching. Please let me know down below which of these pathetically weak weapons is your favourite. Say what you will about them, it does take an absolute champ to wield one of them. But let me know what you think down below, and if you liked the video, give it a like. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.